So tell me what's been going on. Because you're hitting a phase now, this sort of, the way I do it is there's sort of three phases. And the first one is just recognizing, just looking at all of the stuff. And as we near the end of that phase, we enter the stage of letting go, and you're kind of there.
Oh,
And
that's what's happening. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So, the person that I was talking to made it very clear that he just wants to be friends, which is totally fine. But I feel I don't know how to do this without, I think he gave me a lot of mixed messages in the beginning and was very flirtatious, and even other people picked it up. Were like, "Oh my God, he's really after you." And then was like on this dating plan, and like I respect all of that and all this kind of stuff. And then we got really close, and then I said, "Well, I'm seeing other people, so maybe I should see you." He dumped both the chicks he was dating while talking to me. Right? Broke up with both of them after like 7 days. It's like, I don't know. I'd be mad if someone spent 7 dates with me and then was like, "Oh, no, I'm not feeling it." It's like, well, why didn't you tell me that on date 3? I mean, maybe that's the dating plan you're going to give me. I don't know. But I mean, I made some
Everybody
joke,
has their own.
and I made some joke like, I'd rape you, like if you only made out with me for 7 dates, I'd be like, ugh. And he was like, "You like my homie?" And like, he was really like, the age difference. I sort of went, "Okay, let's meet," which I hadn't wanted to do before. And now we're good buddies. And all of a sudden I'm some old dinosaur, which is like, I don't know. He's only 10 years younger. And I guess I feel like, first of all, I'm fine with being friends. I feel like angry about the mixed messages, and then I feel like I now like come here. He kind of did a come here, and then I did it, and then he went go away. And also to talk about my age, like I look amazing for 50 years old. Like,
Yes, you
fuck
do.
fuck you. You know what I mean? It's like, I get it. He wants to have babies and that store is closed. Like, completely understand. But like, going through perimenopause, being 50, I'll be 51 in a couple weeks, in LA, as a woman, as a single woman, it's, I'm not going to say it's not fucking with my head a little bit. You know what I mean? We're talking about femininity and what is a woman, all that stuff. I think that if I say, "Hey, I felt like you gave me mixed messages," he'll be like, "I was always clear." Like, I think he'll get really defensive. We haven't spoken in a couple days. And I also feel like, I get that you want to have babies, but there would have been a kinder way to say that than like, "Well, the age difference." And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I could have come back and been like, "Yeah, I want someone who's actually makes money and is taller." Like, I mean, like I could have, has the shit together for being sober for as long as you have, honey. So, I mean, like, I could have really gone for it, and I haven't said anything, and we haven't but I feel like if he calls me, it's going to be obvious that I'm tight around it.
Okay.
So either we're going to push through this and get to a friend, like continue the friendship, but I have to say something about, because I don't know if I should just let it go, but I feel like I need to speak my truth. And if he flips out and is like, "Fuck you," then okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so you brought up a lot of things. I want to just acknowledge you for having stepped forward and say, "Let's meet." Because this is a, something
Yeah,
that
I
we
said, "Are
can
you afraid to
often.
see me?" He goes, "Am I afraid to see you?" "No, you're like my buddy." And I was like, okay, that's not the vibe I've been getting. You know what I mean? I'm not
Yeah.
stupid. I'm not
No, from
stupid.
what you said, it didn't sound like the vibe he was
Hi,
giving
right,
off.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that felt
But
like, yeah.
but you stepping forward and essentially saying, "Okay, we've been flirty texting for 2 weeks or whatever it was, and now
Talking
it's
on the
time to
phone. We're
meet."
just like, yeah.
And talking on the
Yeah,
phone,
and
and
you
now
dumped
it's
like
time to
2
meet.
girls that you were dating. Yeah. It's like,
Right.
okay.
So you did a great thing for yourself because you didn't get lost in the desert, talking on the phone with him for months on end, flirty texting and getting pulled in more
It
and more
wasn't
and more.
super flirty texting. It was like very much like we were talking a lot. But I think that as a love and sex addict, when I feel connected to someone, I don't
Yeah.
know. I get confused with what that is. If I feel a real bond with somebody, are they supposed to be my best friend? Are they supposed to be my lover? Or is this the great romance? I do it with women too. I do it with
Hmm.
men and women. I get
Hmm.
confused when there's such a bond. Then I go, well, maybe I'm supposed to be gay, and this is my person. Like I get really, like I get confused
Right. Okay. Well,
with what category to put that when there's such a connection,
hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's on me.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I think that you're dealing with someone who is a sex and love addict, right?
Right.
And so that person has some issues around this, and you've also called out the come here, go away. So how
I
do you
don't really
feel about
care.
this friend zone business? How comfortable are you being in the friend zone with someone?
I have lots of I'm comfortable with friends. I have male friends. I mean,
Okay.
I have another male friend who also who I really wanted to be with, and he's much younger. He's like 33, and it's confusing to me where he's like, I want to see you. I want to take you out for lamb. I love you. I want to, like I have to see you. Like that kind of stuff is confusing to me a little bit. Um, yeah,
Okay.
I'll
So
admit
let's
that.
talk a little bit about that, about what does a healthy platonic male female relationship look like to you?
I don't really know. You know,
Okay. Okay. So,
because I get flirty and yeah, like even when again, you know, my connection to my partner, I was like, well, what is this? I'm confused. If I talk
mhm.
to someone every day, I'll get confused by what the connection is. Not
Okay.
always. Well, yeah, kind of always. Even with like my producer, I was like, well, maybe we should get married, even though I'm like not, I'm like literally like the meditation's been a total game. I cannot. I'm only doing 10 minutes a day. It's really actually kind of spooky. It really, really is. And it took you to make me do it. Everyone was like, I feel so different. I'm like happy and I'm like not reactive or much, much less reactive. It's only doing 10
Yeah.
minutes a day. Like totally fine all the time now.
Yeah.
Like it's much more powerful for me than any medication I've ever been on. And I've been on all my medications. I'm not going to get off the meds I'm on, but I'm saying like, this is what I wanted in a pill, which was like kind of like a feeling of levelness, a feeling of being centered, a feeling of being sort of like my natural set point was like, yay, like, and like my reactivity was turned way down. Like, and
Mm.
that's how I am. I don't know if you saw the picture on Instagram when I'm all smiling and I have like these like weird guru, like meditative eyes. And I'm like, nothing's changed, but everything's different. And it's like, that's how I feel. Like, I really do
Yeah.
feel like it's such a game changer. And so I don't feel as wacko about stuff at all. I feel much more level.
Great. Great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's stunning. It's kind of
And
creepy.
what's also great about meditation is you don't need anyone else. You don't need any equipment. You don't need to pay for it. Like it's just
Well,
right
I
there
did
for
pay. I have
you
a scholarship to TM
anytime.
years ago. Yeah. So,
So I want to go back to this incident with the guy and you getting confused
mhm.
with friendships, and kind of how can you discern what's really going on? So what are some questions that you might be able to ask yourself that would tell you what's going on in that relationship?
Wow. Okay. We just found like a real block, I guess. Well, I feel like men always want more than friendship, even if they pretend they don't. Like most men are willing to get sexual, and like I have a friend who's like 20 something years old, like I've known for 20 years, and we're couldn't be he's like my brother, and we've made jokes about it. So it's I feel like that's always there. And oh, I have anxiety. I really don't know, to be honest with you, because this is the way that I have manipulated people and sort of navigated my whole life.
That was honest.
I use, well, maybe to get through life. Less so now that I'm older, but when I was younger, for sure did that.
Okay.
Favors.
Okay.
I don't know. It's confusing because maybe they just do it because they like me, because women do it too.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, you're shiny, and people always give you free shit and do stuff for you, and it's irritating. And I'm like,
Right.
Sorry. So I don't really know where that line is, to be honest with you.
Okay. So that's great that you know that you don't know where the line is. And
Yeah.
right. And if you're going to stop being confused, because this is the word that came up in the relationship with your dad, in the relationship with your partner, in the relationship with this guy that you were talking to, the word confused kept
Yeah.
coming up. Right. Then we have
Right.
to figure out, okay, where's that line for you?
Right.
And what are you comfortable with and what are you not comfortable with, so that you don't have to feel uncomfortable, so that you don't have to feel confused, so that you don't have to walk around being like, does he like me, or
Right.
is he using me?
Yeah, that's also like, even someone else was like, that guy's in love with you. And I was like, who, the one on the motorcycle? We're just friends. Like, he's not in love with me. But it's like, and then I hear people who are friends for years and then it becomes something. For someone like me who slept with people on the first date and knew right away what it was, and it was always usually really sexually driven, there's no confusion. We know what it is right away. I have plenty of friends.
Right.
So when I have, someone that comes into my life as a friend through program or business or whatever, then it gets confusing, because then it hasn't started out in a category, and then there's a connection, and then I go, oh, well, I want it to be this, and then they go, oh, no, it's not that, for whatever reason. Usually their own incapability and emotional inability, I think. Or maybe I'm not
Okay.
their world. Like, I'm not everybody's world. I'm kind of a lot, so I get it.
Okay. Well, so when you have been friends with men in the past or present, in those male female relationships, what do you notice about the power differential?
Power differential. Okay, well, I mean, if you really want to know, I definitely feel like I have less power in all those relationships.
Interesting. Okay. How do you feel that
I feel,
affects?
and then another person was my friend. I slept with them once, and I really wanted it to be something, and we just became friends. And then what I see, okay, here it is. I just got an insight. What I see in my male friendships is what I saw with my father growing up, which is like we'll have a really special connection, but they'll reject me as a romantic partner. And then they're going through these women who are vapid or not as bright or not as interesting or boring, and they'll complain to me about it, and they'll go through lots and lots of women while I'm still here, and they're but I'm being rejected as a potential partner. And they're not always like my dad. They're not always like more beautiful than me or any of that. They're just more. They just seem less, to be honest with you. They seem less big, less intense, less. I take over the room, less masculine. I don't know, but that's okay, that's it. That's it. And I see them go, I don't feel da da da. Like that's the thing I see all the time. I can name a bunch of guys, but at the same time, they're like, not you, but they're like going through, and it's just like everything's going badly, and da 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 da. There's a pattern that seems to be happening.
Right, right. And how did it feel, both with your father, and how does it feel when that pattern repeats for you to be rejected that way?
Frustrating and confusing and sort of maddening, and also it makes me like, you're an idiot, but it also makes me go, something's wrong with you.
Okay. Okay. And how do you act when you feel that way?
Bigger. I get more aggressive. I get bigger. I get more masculine. I've noticed a pattern of me mirroring whoever I'm talking to, the way that they talk.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay.
Like,
so,
if they're British, I'll start to get like a weird that in me. If they're Southern, I get like a little of that. If they're Black, I get a little of that. I start to sound like them. I imitate them, but it's completely unconscious. I can hear it and I can't really stop it.
okay.
Which is probably me trying to be what I think they want. But it's also neurolinguistics programming. Mirroring is a way to make someone feel close to you. It's not stupid. It's smart.
No, it actually is. It actually is. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're feeling frustrated and confused and rejected and like there's something wrong with you, and you then respond to that by getting bigger, which is what you said.
I always do that when that's what I always do. That's what I always have done in my life. Whenever I'm uncomfortable and scared, I'm louder, I'm more offensive. I make space in the room, like, oh, you're gonna reject me? Fuck you. I'm gonna fucking make space for myself, and I don't care what you think. It's a very, very defensive thing. I'm very aware I do it. So the more terrified I am, the bigger I get. The more I pretend I don't care.
Which is a really great insight to have. How well does it work?
Makes me feel better, makes me feel comfortable. I make myself feel comfortable. I don't know how authentic it is.
It sounds like it's authentic. How well does it work in terms of getting you what you really want?
Not at all. It makes me just feel safe, which is what I need at the moment. It makes me feel safe within myself.
Okay. And what is it that you really want in those moments?
I don't want to feel less than or uncomfortable socially or scared. I just want to feel safe and accepted and,
It sounds like you're really getting to the heart of something here where you're repeating a pattern from your childhood when you seek out men who are unavailable and then accept friendship when in fact you wanted to have a deeper connection, and you end up feeling confused and rejected And when the moment comes, you then become aggressive and you get bigger, and that's not really getting you what you want. So how could you do it differently?
Or I
When,
withdraw. I withdraw. That's the other thing.
okay,
So I punish them by withdrawing. That's another thing I do. You hurt
okay,
me, and so then I punish you and I withdraw.
okay. And how does that
That's,
work?
because I can't rage on people anymore, really, because I don't want to owe people amends. Just don't do
Right,
that. But
right.
I guess it's frustrating when you feel a connection and like I'm the closest person in their life, but they don't want to take it to that next level. And so then I feel like it has something to do with something unacceptable about me.
Okay, okay. So what could you do differently early on in those interactions to change that dynamic?
I feel like I'm not driving. Like I'm waiting for them to decide what it is instead of me
Mm,
deciding what it is.
great.
There was a comic once who said, they were like, people said, what's your type? And they're like, whoever like me, it's like, that feels like that's my fucking type sometimes. Like
Right.
whoever likes me is my type. And I'm like, oh, you. So I'd like to be the one, like, not so much do they like me, but do I like them?
Right on, Amy. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, pulling my power back and being like, I don't choose you. Like, I'm not waiting for you to choose me, bitch. Like, I don't choose you. Oh God, right? Always.
And meanwhile, while you're spending all this time on some guy who just wants to be friends, even though you feel super connected and bonded with that person, you're kind of blocking your
Right.
energy so that
Right.
so that somebody else who really wants to show up for you can't get in there because you're not noticing them because your attention is over here,
Right. 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 Right.
right?
Right.
So
Right.
there's that.
Yeah, like if you're
So,
talking to someone 5 times a day, it gets confusing. Is this a relationship or is this a friendship? You know what I mean? Hi.
well,
But
yeah.
I am not convinced that I'm necessarily gonna find somebody. So I feel like my friends kind of saved my life.
Hmm.
But that's the major source of my connection and love and support right now. So I don't really want to cut that off because then I would have nothing. And I don't, you know, I don't, I'm not convinced completely that it's going to happen for me, which is kind of sad. I mean, everyone's like, it's going to happen. I'm like, okay. So, um,
At the same time, sweetheart, what we just talked about is how not letting go of those placeholder relationships may be blocking it from
right.
happening, right? So,
Right. Not coming out of a place of scarcity or desperation and me going like me seeing the red flags that this person is not available for what I want or is not what I want, and me still wanting them to want me for whatever reason, ego or whatever it is.
right. Great. Great. So just hearing the boundary, like recognizing the boundary when someone
Yeah.
says, here's the line, don't cross it. Well, then you don't cross it. And what does that do? It saves you.